Alright class, this is just a quick recap on our angle relations. You were using special angle pairs to find the measures of angles. The two angle relationships we cared about were complementary angles, which were two angles with measures that have a sum of 90 degrees, and supplementary angles, two angles with measures that have a sum of 180 degrees. We drew a set of pictures for this. We said these two angles, notice that they are not adjacent, but they both add up to make 90 degrees. This pair of angles would be considered complementary. This pair of angles here, angle QRS and SRT, add up to make 90 degrees as well. These angles are complementary, and they are adjacent as well. So we could know for a fact that we could put a right angle symbol there if we desired to in your picture. On this set, we have two angles here, angle DEF and angle JHG, which add up to 180. These two angles are a pair of supplementary angles. We can see that the 110 plus 70 is 180 degrees. We'd say this pair is supplementary. Then we see angle WVX and angle UVW. We see that these two angles add up to make 180. They are adjacent. Because the angles add to make 180, they are supplementary. Because they're also adjacent angles, forming a straight line, we could say it's a linear pair as well. We can say these are supplementary and a linear pair. Because we have a clear line. These angles are supplementary, but not a linear pair. Angle E and angle H are supplementary, but not a linear pair. Then we had just two sort of word problems we focused on, and then you had the homework on the back of this. Let's take a look at the word problems. For complementary and supplementary angles, the word problems had to deal with this sort of statement here. We are going to be asked to find the measure of two complementary angles, two angles that add to make 90 degrees, if the larger angle is 5 more than 4 times the measure of the smaller angle. We're going to start off by identifying the relationships in this problem. The sum of the angle measures, the sum of our two angles, is 90 degrees because the angles are complementary. We're going to make a choice about what we call the smaller angle. We'll say the smaller angle here, will be x. Then the larger angle, our larger angle, is 5 more than 4 times the smaller angle. 5 more than 4 times x. So 5 plus 4x. We're then going to write and solve an equation to 4x, the smaller angle. Remember, we have two angles here to worry about. So I'm going to think about our first angle, this small angle, angle x, and I'm going to add on to it the larger angle, 5 plus 4x. Our small angle and our large angle are going to add to make 90 degrees. We'll combine like terms. We'll get 5x plus 5 equals 90. Subtract 5, get 5x equals 85. we'll find that x equals 17 once we're done. Now remember, x equaling 17, x is supposed to be the measure of our smaller angle. So let's say the small angle is 17 degrees. Last thing we're going to do is find the measure of the large angle. We talked about two ways you could do this. You could take your small angle and plug it into the formula for the large angle. You could plug in, which would be 5 plus 4 times 17. Four times 17, 68 plus 5 gives you a value of 73 for the large angle. Our large angle is 73 degrees. But then there's another, faster, easier way to do this. Remember, our two angles have to be complementary. They have to add to make 90 degrees. So 17 degrees plus some amount has to equal 90 degrees. Just subtract 17 from 90. We find that we have to have 73 degrees here. You could subtract the small angle from 90 degrees to find your second answer. We need two angles, we need two measures. We'll see one more example here, and then you had your homework on the back of this. Here we're asked to find the difference. We were told the difference between the measure of two supplementary angles is 18 degrees. And we want to find the measure of the two angles. First off, what are the two angles going to add up to? Well, let's focus on the fact that we've got two supplementary angles. So that means I've got two angles that when I add them, make 180 degrees. Supplementary means 180 degree pair. Now, we can make a choice. We'll just say this first angle is x. The second angle needs to be 18 degrees different from this first angle. Well, if my first angle is x and I need to be 18 degrees just different, I could be adding 18, I could be subtracting 18. It doesn't matter. We'll write it as x plus 18. That means if x is the smaller angle, x plus 18 is the larger angle. Because this one's going to be 18 more than x. Then we just combine terms. We'll have 2x plus 18 is 180. We'll get 2x is 162, or x equals 81 degrees. One of our angles is 81 degrees. The second angle is our 180 degrees minus 81 degrees, minus our answer. 180 minus 81 is 99. The two angles are 81 degrees and 99 degrees.